This is Paul McKenna for PT Boxing Association with ES News. With me, Shane Mcguigan. How are you, mate? Okay?
Good, thanks, mate. Yeah.
Here today for the press conference, obviously,
Lively.
in Liverpool. Yeah, very lively to say the least. A little bit of a hostile reception, for, well, definitely for David and O'Hara. A little bit for yourself, but not too bad, I suppose. David's manager really got it.
That is what we were expecting. You know what I mean? You can't come into Lions Den without expecting that.
Of course.
Tony's got a fantastic fan base over here. I don't know how many, but the thing is David Hayes known worldwide, and he brings in a different type of crowd.
Yeah.
And with the way those tickets were priced, I'm not sure how many people from Liverpool are coming down to support Tony Bellew. They're priced very high, and I think a lot of the crowd is going to be in David Hayes' favour. But this isn't going to be one in the crowd. It's not going to be, there's not going to be going to points. This is going early, and when it goes, it's going to go in David's favour.
We're not doing too bad. We're not doing too bad. Obviously, you're David's trainer. You've seen a good amount of David since you've been partners, and you believe obviously that David's got more than enough to beat Tony Bellew.
Yeah, I think I really believe, from Eddie Hearn's perspective, this is the perfect scenario for him. He's got a guy in Tony Bellew who's achieved a fantastic. He's world champion. Nobody can take that away from him. He's a great fighter. But where does he go? Does he go down the Gassayev route? Does he go and get knocked out by another really world-class cruiserweight? A guy that there's a lot of hard fights out there for cruiserweight that nobody has a clue who they are. But everywhere he looks, he's got a hard fight.
Yeah.
Or does he go and fight David Hay, a guy that was a Britain's best cruiserweight, and gone up, won the heavyweight world title, been out of the ring for a long time. Eddie's looking at it going, can I put Anthony Joshua in with David Hay yet? How much has he got left? And he's looking at Tony Bellew and saying, you're the perfect guy to take the fall, to see how much he's got left. And that's the way he's looked at it. And Tony and Dave have taken the fight. They believe from a sparring session a long time ago that he's can mix it with him. David doesn't even remember the sparring session. And he's riding on loads of confidence, but we've been sparring really we've been sparring a guy that's I believe is a much better fighter than Tony Bellew.
In who?
I can't name names.
Oh, okay.
We'll announce that in the next few days. But they know who it is, and I know who he's been sparring.
Yeah, I know who it is.
I know he's been sparring, and I know that not one of those guys is anywhere near as good as David Hay. So they talk about this fright factor and the fact that he hasn't been hit with 10-ounce gloves. But the fright is going to be in their corner. Honestly, it's going to be as soon as he gets clipped. The fright is it's in our favour.
Do you agree with David in the fact that he believes that if Tony Bellew hits him with his best shot, David's still not gonna?
Anyone over 14 stone and they hit you on the chin, it's gonna hurt you. But David is a lot more mature, and when you're mature, you're relaxed. And when you're relaxed, you can see the shots better. You're not panicked, and he's filled into the heavyweight division. Like we've been training, and he's around 100 kilos now. But there's not an ounce of fat on him. There's no way we could get down to 91 kilos ever again. So when you mature into the weight, you do hold a better shot. But if you can't hit what you can't see. And I really don't believe he's going to be able to see it, and I don't see him having the right timing to land anything meaningful on David before David lands. As soon as David clips him, he's gone.
Well, David seems to think the same. He thinks it's going to go early. Tony Bellew, by the sounds of it, is hoping on it going past 4 rounds and taking David into a dogfight, and with the amount of fights David's had compared to Tony and whatnot. Do you think, obviously you don't think it's going to go past 4 rounds, but if it does turn into that type of dogfight, you still believe?
You got a guy who's been in there with really top quality fighters, and if he faded, why wouldn't he have faded down the stretch against Vladimir Klitschko? I mean, when Vladimir Klitschko was live and throwing back, and I know that was a long time ago, but Vladimir Klitschko's had lots of miles on the clock. David Hayes hasn't. He hasn't been active, but he's a phenomenal athlete. He can do everything he used to do. and he's just a little bit wiser. So you know, if it does go into later rounds, he knows when to tie up. He knows when to, you know, where he needs to be in the ring. He's got great ring generalship. He doesn't let himself get, you know, close to the ropes and smothered and lent on. And you see that like Dylan White fight against Derek Chisora. Like, look how much Derek Chisora was able to physically impose himself on Dylan White, and how exhausted Dylan White was at the end. Chisora was exhausted too, but he wasn't able to do that on David. So if he wasn't able to do that, how is Tony Bellew going to be able to do it?
Well, I suppose that's why it's going to make such a good fight, because I suppose there is that sense of not knowing what's going to happen in the public's mind. Yeah. But we'll see. Saturday night, it's going to be entertaining.
Perfect.
I'm sure we'll catch up with you around that time.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you.